So here's one area where there is massive room for improvement for the Atlanta Falcons, and that is the turnovers per game. So, to give you some perspective on the last 3 years for the Atlanta Falcons, in 2020, the Falcons finished 17th in the NFL in turnovers per game at 1.3. That was tied with the Arizona Cardinals. So they were 17th in the NFL in 2020 during the pandemic year at 1.3. And then that number in 2021, that number went itself to 19th in the NFL. They were 19th in the league, excuse me, at 1.2 turnovers per game. So 19th, down zero point 0.1 turnovers per game, but they finished 19th overall. Then we go to last year, where the Falcons only averaged one turnover per game and finished 26th in the NFL. So the last 3 years has been starting in 2020, 17th, 19th, 26th. Now you say, where were the leaders at? Well, most of the leaders were only 1.8, 1.9 turnovers per game. Well, what difference does 0.8 turnovers make? Well, over 17 games, that's a lot. If you can create 7, 8, 9, 10 turnovers more year over year, you're going to win more football games. That's a pretty safe bet to assume that if you create more turnovers on a per game basis and you accumulate more turnovers throughout the year, you're going to probably win more games. Because the NFL is not like college. It's not 52-3 on a weekly basis by and large. The NFL is all about one-score games. And our record a couple of years ago was pretty good in one-score games. In Arthur's first year, it was pretty good. Last year, it kind of fell back to the norm and fell back to the mean. Because, again, when we don't sack the quarterback or we don't create turnovers, that's the thing is, you're going to find yourself in games where you can't make a play here and a play there to influence the game and change things around in your favor. Now, it's not like the Falcons can go out there and practice creating turnovers, right? This is about situational football and putting offenses in precarious or dangerous situations, whatever you want to call it, putting them in bad situations where turnovers become more likely, or you increase the likelihood of, creating a turnover. For instance, sacking the quarterback. When you can sack the quarterback, there's a greater opportunity for strip sack fumbles. Again, when you can put the quarterback on the ground and you can slap at the ball, there's always that chance that the quarterback is going to cough it up. Then you talk about down and distance with sacking the quarterback. The idea of 3rd and 3 versus 3rd and 13 is a world of difference in the NFL. And when you can put teams into obvious passing situations, you can be a more aggressive defense, not just on your, going after the quarterback, but you can play differently when you know that the other team has to throw the football. Your defensive backs can be a little bit more, ambitious when you know that they have to throw the football. So again, it's not a matter of practicing, the idea of we're going to, create more turnovers and this, that, and the other. No, it's the idea of playing situational football. Sack the quarterback, change up down and distance, force teams to have to throw against you, make obvious passing situations. All of those things, the culture of your defense is how that happens and how it naturally creates more turnovers. And you can say, well, 0.4 turnovers isn't that big of a difference. Multiply that by 17. Again, the Falcons are finishing typically at least a half a turnover per game worse than where the leaders are. All right, well, add that half a turnover, and simple math says that's 8.5 more turnovers. You don't think that makes a difference and influences a game? You don't think that a couple of turnovers here in a game that can influence a game? Of course it does. Of course it does. So again, it's about culture and things like that when you start looking at how do we create more turnovers? Sack the quarterback, increase your down and distance, make an offense more one-dimensional in what they're going to do. All of those things. You don't practice a drill that gives you more turnovers, but you build a defense that creates a culture to where you put the defense in an advantageous position to end up accumulating more turnovers. So again, this is a big area that the Falcons can improve on, having dropped from 16th to 17th, or sorry, 16th to 19th to, or sorry, 17th to 19th to 26th last year. At some point, our defense, besides sacking the quarterback, if we can create some more turnovers, we can influence more of those one-score games that wasn't very good last year, but was very good a couple of years ago. And that's how the NFL game is played. That's where the NFL game is currently. One-score games. It's not 52-3 on a weekly basis. All right, as you listen in to Hittin' Hard, we want you to leave us a comment on whatever podcast platform that you listen on. Let us know that you're an everyday listener to the program. So we call them our everydayers, and we thank you so much for being a part of our growing community. And listen, we thank you so much for being a part of the journey in this ride that we're on. So let us know that you're an everydayer 5 days a week listening in to the program.